Hello and welcome to the Homewrecker podcast. It's me, the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing, certified hypnotherapist, trophy wife, the lovely Monique. Oh, you don't want me to call you trophy wife anymore.
Oh,
I forgot.
you
Well,
forgot. Well, I'm your trophy wife.
yeah, you are anyway. So,
Hello.
hi, how are you?
I'm Peachy. How are you?
Doing fantastic as always.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust this because I'm looking back at you. I'm doing the thing that I said that I didn't want
He
you to
yells
do.
at me for this.
I don't yell at you. I just
He's
tell you to
like,
watch it.
don't touch it. It makes
Just be
noise.
careful.
Don't bump into
It
it.
makes so much noise, and I'm doing
Yeah.
it right now. Right on, and I'm not even gonna edit it because we're live. We're live, pal. Yeah. So we just celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary.
We did.
It's pretty crazy.
Should we share with everyone how we celebrated?
No, that's our private time, our private stuff. No one needs to know that.
I think we should share.
You want to be that much of an open book with people?
Because we didn't do anything.
Okay, then.
Yeah, we don't really celebrate.
We didn't do anything. I figured we'd have some mystique and some mystery and leave the imagination.
I think it's
leave
cool.
it up to the imagination.
I think
for
it's
people,
cool.
but
Like, we don't give a shit.
yeah,
We don't get cards. We don't do gifts. We don't do anything.
No.
We're like, happy anniversary, but that's really it.
Yep, that's about it.
Yeah. It's nice.
It is.
I think we could, and we even forget sometimes it's our anniversary. Like,
Yeah.
oh, when is it?
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
And like sometimes I wonder, should the anniversary be the day we exchange vows, the wedding vows, or should it be the first time like we, went out on a date and hung out? Like what should be the anniversary? I guess that's kind of.
It's weird because I think some couples celebrate like multiple things, like their first date, once they officially became a couple.
Oh, I couldn't do multiple things. It's one
Yeah.
thing. It's like gosh, one thing is cool. Like we don't
Yeah.
need to do a million different things. I'm fine with the one thing. But that's my point though. What's more important? What is it? Because the wedding, as we know, it's just a ceremony, really. And I mean, you can argue pros and
It's
cons of
paperwork with a
being
party.
pretty much. So it's like, what's more important? That because that's what everybody recognizes, or should it be the first time that you meet and realize, oh, geez, I'm really into this person, and then that's the starting point for the thing that eventually grows into a full-blown relationship, and for us, spending the rest of our lives together. For most people, hopefully, that get married. I mean,
Not
statistics
everyone, but
don't say that, but yeah, but I mean, what should be more important? I look at it like, okay, yeah, the wedding, all right, great, but I think that first time meeting, and we like pretty much narrowed it down. We didn't have the exact date. That's how awesome we are. We don't even have the exact date. We just settled on September 15th. We just picked a date because it was like it wasn't September, but we didn't remember if it was like it was more towards the beginning or more toward. It wasn't towards the end, but we didn't know exactly what dates. We're like, we'll just how about the 15th?
Yeah,
because it's right in the middle. Like that's good enough. So, yeah.
So 12 years together.
Yeah.
10 years married.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it. But anyway.
Well, it's weird because it feels longer than that, but it also feels like it hasn't been that long. If that makes any sense.
I don't know if it makes sense.
I don't care.
Whatever. Whatever. So anyway, we're married still.
Yeah.
After all these years. So happy anniversary. Anyway. What else is going on with you? Anything new, crazy, fun, exciting? Since we last spoke here?
I did as we record this, I had just done my mystical meetup.
How'd it go?
It was so fun. I love doing those. I love Carlene, my partner in hypnotherapy crime. She is fantastic. And if you haven't checked out mystical meetups, go to my website, innerstandingshypnosis.com. I have a page on my website that has information about upcoming meetings. It's usually the second Tuesday of the month. And next month, so Tuesday, December 14th, we're going to do it at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're on the West Coast, it's a little bit later. So we're trying to give a little accommodation for those people as well. And we're going to be talking about anxiety. So,
wow.
Yeah. Okay. Keep an eye out for that.
That's one that I think a lot of people can get something from that.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, there's so much that can be done for anxiety through hypnotherapy.
Cool.
So we'll be talking about that, and just in time for the holidays too.
Oh, geez. Yeah. When
Yeah.
everybody's anxiety's at an all-time high. Probably even more so this year. I was seeing that
Yeah.
they're going to be, it's going to be like the most expensive Thanksgiving because all the food is inflated so much to
That's
ridiculous
crazy.
levels. With all these shortages of everything and the freighters and whatever nonsense is going on, they're saying that there's not going to be as many toys in stock and that kind of thing. So should be a pretty interesting Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that stuff.
It's what you make of it.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying it's
For a lot of
when
people,
we talk about
it's gonna
anxiety,
be a
that's
lot,
going to
yeah.
be it's going to be a lot. It's going to be
Mhm.
huge for
Yeah.
folks. So yeah.
So understandingshypnosis.com. Check it out.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Good deal.
How
What
about
else is
you?
how about me?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. I'm trying to think if I got anything new or exciting or fun going on. No, I can't really say since our last show. No, nothing really. I don't think. Am I forgetting something or
No, I just
okay? I we always say this to each other like, hey, what's up, what's new, and everything, because if we have something to share, we'd like to share it, but I don't think I really have anything I want to share at this moment
or
in time.
anything that you want to share, perhaps.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
was
just
looking at
having
I was
fun.
looking at drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at drums because we did that show a couple whatever it was, well, recently, talking about how he used to play drums, and I was looking, I'm like, I wonder how much a drum set is now, because I put so much money into the one that I had and I loved it, and it was awesome. And I was looking, I'm like, holy shit, these are actually, I could get one right now. They're pretty affordable. I mean, it wouldn't be exactly what I had, obviously, but it would be a quality kit and cymbals and all that kind of stuff. And so actually today, I don't even know if I told you. Actually, I didn't tell you.
No,
I know
you
I didn't
didn't.
tell you. I got a pair of drumsticks in the mail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Just so I could start practicing stuff again.
No, I want us to get a drum set because I want to play. I don't know how to play drums, but I just want to play.
Oh, I'll teach you. No one taught me. You kind of teach yourself, I guess.
I remember when we first moved into our house, there was a neighbor who would play drums, and you could
Yeah.
hear like the drums, and then you'd hear
Yeah.
the band playing. I'm like, I want to find these people.
It was like it was like the next street over, I think.
Yeah.
And they would jam out. Yeah, and it was just when we first moved into our house. So about, oh gosh, almost 8 years ago now, 9 years ago.
8, 9.
Yeah, and yeah, it was. I was like, so it's gonna be one of those kind of neighborhoods first, and then hearing it the first time, like, you know what, I can't get upset because I used to do that too. And then after
Yeah.
a couple of weeks of hearing it all the time, I was like, that's kind of cool. And when it stopped, it's like, what happened to the music?
I used to get
What
excited when
happened to
they
the
play a
band?
song I liked. I'm like, oh, I like that song.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess that's kind of new. So yeah, I will be getting a drum set again.
Yay.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. It's just a matter of now. I'm like, okay, when do I pull the trigger on this thing? Because I'm like, obviously now having this discussion with you on our podcast.
I'm like, where are we gonna put them?
Oh, I've already got a spot planned out, everything. I got it all picked out. But and actually our basement is perfect. It's got the perfect spot for a drum set. And I'll show you later. But it's where my desk is right now.
Mm-hmm.
That section right there, it's perfect. The way that it's all concrete barricaded in. It's like the perfect thing. It's been here all along, and I've never really realized it. It's amazing.
The perfect spot has
Like the
been
perfect
here all
spot
this time.
has been here all along,
and we
and
just
I've
didn't
never,
know it.
It's been right in front of my face. But yeah, no, I was yeah. What was I gonna say now?
Drum set?
Drum set. Yeah.
Are we getting one?
Yeah, I think so.
So apparently we're getting a drum set.
Yes.
Breaking news.
Yes. Probably pretty soon. Yeah, because yeah, that's what I was getting, because with inflation and everything, that's going to be essentially what I was seeing a lot of different financial things that I look at and read and everything. They're saying that right now, the way that inflation is going, anything that anybody, and this is for anything, not just a drum set, but anything that anybody wants to buy that you've been meaning to buy, like whatever it is. And we're not talking about food. We're talking like a material thing that you've wanted for a long time.
Stuff.
Yes, stuff. So for me, for example, a drum set, get it within like the next few months, because come 2022 and beyond, inflation is going to be so bad that it's what you'd pay, say $500 for something right now, will be $1,500 to $2,000 in a few months, just at the rate that it's going up, and it's not going to stop because it's just going to keep going up and up and up, and stuff's going to be more scarce and whatever. So yeah, that was kind of what I was reading. So I'm like, it's a sign. I don't know.
Well, I did a tarot reading. So our friend Leslie Fear, she has a podcast, Because I Want to Know. She asked me to be on, and I was on the other week, and I did a tarot reading for the rest of this year and then for next year, for 2022. And it's just interesting you're bringing up like what they're saying, because yeah, next year is going to be interesting according to my tarot reading. So check out that episode. I think it'll be out November 22nd. So Leslie Fair, Because I Want to Know, I do a tarot prediction for next year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's I guess that's new,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
Well, I guess before we get into our topic at hand, let's plug some stuff.
Sure. Plug away.
Woo.
You could find us on social media as always.
At Homewrecker Pod.
We have a website.
Homewreckerpodcast.com.
And on that website, we have all kinds of merchandise now. T-shirts, mugs. Check it out. It's cool.
Stuff. Before the inflation hits. Check it out.
Yeah. Exactly. Before it hits, it's already hit us. But I mean, we're going to really be noticing it in the next few months.
So get it now.
Right. What else? We have that's it for social media and website.
YouTube and Brighteon. Check it out.
Thank you. Jeez, and Curry.
Subscribe and like.
What if we've been doing this over 2 years now?
Yes.
You think I'd get this down?
We're going into almost 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Interesting.
You think we'd be better at this?
Well,
yeah. We're just being us.
Well, yeah. I like being authentic rather than rehearsed.
Yeah, it's not our style.
So what about you? What, you want to plug your stuff?
Yeah.
Plug away.
Like I said, understandings, hypnosis, hypnotherapy. There's so much that can be done. We talked about anxiety. You can use hypnotherapy for weight loss. You can use it to quit smoking or quit any unhealthy habits. You can use it for even just fear, anxiety, stress. It's really endless. I'd be here for like days if I went through the list, but you can schedule a free 20-minute consult to see if it's something you think would work for you before investing in it. So please, understandingshypnosis.com, check it out. My Understandings Hypnosis Twitter is at Monique P. CHT. And if you're more interested in tarot, organite, crystals, incense, candles, fun stuff like that, go to tarotbymonique.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at _Monique Giselle _. And my love, how about you?
I don't know how you remember all that. I'm on Twitter at the Alex Arion. I rarely go on, but feel free to give me a follow, whatever it's called. That's cool. And then alexarionfitness.com will be back up shortly. And you can check out some stuff there. And it's interesting because one of the things we're going to talk about today, we're done plugging, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I figure I'll use this as a segue. Okay. I've been into health, fitness, nutrition, all that kind of stuff, or what I thought was health and fitness pretty much since I was a young teenager. Right. And it's amazing that most of what I learned then and what I believe to be true up until just, the last several years was all bullshit. It was not true. It was the opposite of what I was led to believe. And so we're going to talk about some of that stuff here today, about just the different, I guess, what's the word? Deception, I guess, that we've all been led to believe that foods and drinks and things that have been marketed towards us are healthy, and they're really not. They're the exact opposite of health. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff here today. And the reason that we got started on or that this kind of came up is because one of the things that used to really bother me, and I didn't know it until I eliminated it from my diet entirely, was a chemical called sucralose,
Mhm.
which
Do you want me to share what it is?
go ahead and share what it is first,
Okay.
and then we'll get into it.
Many people know sucralose as Splenda. So it's the ingredient in Splenda. So it's an artificial sweetener. It's derived from sugar and it contains chlorine. It was originally found as an insecticide compound, and it includes maltodextrin and dextrose. So it's a synthetic sugar, which the body can have difficulty recognizing because it's synthetic. It may also kill helpful bacteria in the stomach and cause inflammation that can lead to Crohn's, irritable bowel syndrome, leaky gut, and other digestive problems. Issues have been found with it when it's heated above 119 degrees, creating potentially toxic compounds. And it's been associated with weight gain and diabetes, but it's been approved by the FDA, so it's okay.
Right on.
Sucralose.
So you hear sucralose, right? And
Mhm.
and it sounds pretty benign. It doesn't sound like anything horrible. It sounds, I don't know. To me, like sucralose, it kind of has that. It almost sounds like a sweet name,
Well,
if that
because
makes any
it
sense.
kind of comes from sucrose.
Yeah. So it's so close to the
Mhm.
word sucrose. So this stuff is in like everything, as far as if you're talking about uh, protein powders and protein bars, energy bars, and that kind of stuff. It's in everything. And I used to eat so many different types of protein bars just to, when I, to try to get in enough protein throughout the day and stuff when I was into work and like weight, bodybuilding and that kind of thing. And I used to always drink, different energy drinks and stuff like that. And the sweetener was always at sucralose. And I used to, for the longest time, I used to get the worst headaches. And I would down Advil to mask the headache, get rid of the headache. I didn't realize that that was probably what was giving me the issue, was this sucralose, this chemical, and probably other things that were in a lot of these drinks and bars and stuff that I was taking,
That are labeled as healthy.
that are labeled as healthy. You buy them at GNC or the vitamin shop or the healthy food section in the grocery store or wherever else you go. They're marketed as healthy,
It
but
says it's healthy.
it's anything but that. And if you're like, for example, a lot of the weightlifting, like the protein powders and stuff, you read about them in the health and fitness magazines, Muscle and Fitness, Flex Magazine, whatever, Men's Fitness, whatever those, you see those advertisements in there. That's essentially what those magazines are. It's just a whole bunch of ads with a couple of articles and pictures here and there. That's all they are. But you would think, okay, well, this must be good because look at the picture of the model taking it or the celebrity endorsing it or whatever. And it's not. It's anything but that.
Mhm.
So yeah, anyway, I used to take all this stuff all the time, just working out and everything else, because I thought, well, I need it. I need this protein, and I can't eat chicken breasts all day, so I got to eat this stuff. And yeah, essentially, like I said, I was getting horrible headaches for the longest time, and I found out that that's one of the side effects of the sucralose. It can also make you real dizzy, real foggy kind of feeling, and I used to get like that all the time. And essentially, I was taking this stuff for years, and it took me getting really, really sick and finally deciding, you know what, I got to figure out what's wrong with me, and finding a naturopathic doctor that was willing to look and find out, hey, what's
The
going on
root
with
of the
you?
problem.
Let's find out what's causing your problem. Let's not just prescribe you medication, which is what all the other doctors I'd seen wanted to do, and I didn't want to do that. And yeah, it was a food sensitivity test and found out I had leaky gut and I had a bunch of foods that were bothering me. And sure enough, one of the side effects of sucralose, leaky gut, and messes with the good bacteria in your body and stuff. So yeah, eliminated that. My headaches went away. Didn't have to take Advil anymore. Didn't have to do any of that stuff. So yeah. Anyway, we were talking. The reason why we got onto this is because I was looking at a protein bar because I'd heard that it was now sweetened with stevia, and they were removing the sucralose and taking that out of it. So I'm looking at it, and they're called Quest bars. So they don't sponsor us or anything. It's not a plug.
They probably won't want to sponsor us
It's
after
going to
this.
turn into anything but that. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, good. Reading the ingredients and like, oh, good. They have a couple of flavors that still have that sucralose in it, but they have some that are not sweetened with it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get some of these, and that's cool. And that was all that I looked for. And again, being in the health and fitness space, it's so almost impossible to keep track of all this stuff. It's like you got to walk around all day with like an encyclopedia or a notebook with you, just going to the grocery store, going to the health food store to try to look up different ingredients. It's insane just keeping track of all this stuff that's allowed and federally approved by the FDA, allowed to be in our foods and marketed as healthy. It's
what does
amazing.
that tell you?
It's amazing, and it's anything but.
So do you want me to talk about the Quest bars as an example?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these protein and energy bars are labeled as healthy, but they're loaded with either a lot of sugar or a lot of chemicals and other crap. So for example, we looked at Quest bars, now made with stevia. One of their popular bars, Cookies and Cream, is advertised as real cookie crumbles and delicious white chocolate flavored chips. Not actual chips, white chocolate chips, flavored chips. America's favorite flavor can now be your favorite Quest protein bar. So right there kind of tells you, like when they start using words like they start adding stuff in like, oh, it's flavored. Okay, so it's not actually that, it's just flavored as that. Good to know. It says its nutrition, 21 grams of protein, 4 grams net carbs, 1 gram sugar, 15 grams fiber. The ingredients. There's a protein blend of milk protein isolate, whey protein isolate. There's also soluble corn fiber, which is fiber from corn that can dissolve in water. There are almonds, water, natural flavors. So they don't say what these natural flavors are.
That's another
what they're made of.
That's another red flag, because natural flavors could be insect guts or whatever, like that's what most of that natural flavor stuff is. And that's why it's labeled as such, because no one's going to want to see, whatever insect, cockroach sperm or whatever is the natural flavor in something.
Really gross, but tastes great apparently.
Yeah.
Cocoa butter and erythritol. Now I want to get into erythritol. Erythritol. If I can't say it, come on.
You can't say a lot of things. What do you mean?
This is true.
What are you talking about?
It's an artificial sweetener commonly used in low sugar and sugar-free foods. It's designed to replace sugar and calories to create a quote unquote diet-friendly result. Powdered erythritol sweeteners bake in a way almost identical to sugar and are made by combining and fermenting certain natural sugars. It is classified as a carbohydrate according to the FDA, and it is used not only to add sweetness to foods, but texture and bulk as well. The sweetener also prevents browning and dryness issues. Okay. Despite its carb level, erythritol is not absorbed by the body and will not contribute to weight gain. The sweetening effect this substance provides comes from sugar alcohols. Sugar alcohols do not break down in the body and therefore do not contribute to your daily carbohydrate intake. Okay, doesn't seem that bad, right?
So far, so good.
Okay. Erythritol is generally crafted from GMO cornstarch and has been referred to an invisible GMO ingredient.
Has been referred to as
an invisible GMO ingredient. It may be used as an insecticide in the future due to its apparent ability to kill bugs. This substance is frequently marketed to diabetics and those with weight gain and metabolic issues because it provides a sweet taste without the insulin spike or added poundage. Even though it's kind of questionable how it helps prevent weight gain. And side effects can include bloating, gas, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, heartburn, irritable bowel syndrome, and indigestion. So it's a sweetener and can be a pesticide.
It sounds like one of those like pharma commercials.
Side effects may include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, is that really good for you? Is it really healthy? I don't think ingesting an insecticide
No,
would be
no, hold on,
considered
hold on,
healthy.
hold on, hold on. It may in the future be used as an insecticide. It's not currently.
But what does that say about it?
I'm just,
I
I'm just,
know, I
I want you
know.
to be accurate. That's all.
All right, so
I love how you waved me away. Like, okay, yeah, anyway.
I'm not done with the ingredients. So then the Quest bar also contains less than 2% of the following: cocoa processed with alkali. And alkali is something used when processing cocoa. It reduces the flavanols, which reduces the bitter taste. And there's debate about whether you should really use the alkali. There are a lot of people who say, nope, it will be a little bit more bitter, but it's keeping it the cocoa as it originally should be. Palm kernel oil, sea salt, sodium caseinate, which is found, it's caseins found in milk, sunflower lecithin, xanthan gum, baking soda,
Xanthan gum.
xanthan gum, baking soda, stevia sweetener, and sucralose. And as we have discussed, sucralose is basically Splenda, which isn't really that good for you.
I remember the first time I had Splenda was at my father's restaurant when I was growing up. I had it in some coffee. No, not growing. I was like, I was a teenager at that point, late teens, and yeah, Splenda. I was taking the Splenda because like, oh, it's better than sugar. I'll use this stuff. And I'd tear open like 4 or 5 packets at a time because there was not much in there, and I'd have to dump like a bunch of it in and mix it around in my coffee. And I had that in my coffee for years.
I thought that stuff was
For
so
years.
gross.
I didn't like it, but it was better than black coffee, which now all I drink is black coffee. Or when I drink coffee, it's always black. But I mean, like I thought I was being healthy because the sugar, even though it tasted great, was not so healthy for you. Turns out I should have been having the fucking sugar.
And you're probably better off having like unrefined sugar.
Yeah, that was the stuff that tasted the best and actually was healthier than dumping this shit in my body for years.
But there's so many things out there disguised as healthy.
Yeah, that's our food nowadays. Everything has anything that, well, let's put it this way, anything that's packaged, bagged, it's been processed in some way. It's got some kind of a preservative in it.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm actually going to get to that because we're going to talk about breads.
oh yeah, you've got a lot of notes here. I was just going to mention this in passing, and we're like apparently going to talk a lot about this stuff.
I thought it was good to bring it up.
No,
like
hey,
one of the things, especially in breads, is gluten-free. People think because something is gluten-free, it's healthy. Gluten-free doesn't make it healthy. In fact, a lot of gluten-free products have a shit ton of sugar in it. And they do keep those processed those chemicals to keep it like processed and like good and from spoiling.
Well,
it's not healthy. It's for people with a gluten intolerance. That's why it's there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people jumped on the gluten-free bandwagon because it just seems healthier. And in all honesty, you're probably better off not having any kind of wheat gluten or anything like that, even though so many people still think it's healthy to have wheat and all that kind of stuff. But
and just because it has wheat in it doesn't make it healthy.
No, but I mean, this is where a show like this you're going to turn some people off because if I say something or you say something that attacks the way somebody eats or the way somebody feels about food or believes about food or whatever, you can get into some choppy
we're not
waters
attacking
there. So
people.
no, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I was gonna say is, with gluten and the gluten-free stuff, it became, even I myself did it for the longest time. I wanted to eat gluten-free because I just thought I don't have celiac disease. That's what it's called, right?
But you have a sensitivity.
I did. I was able to heal myself. So I can eat pretty much anything again and it won't bother me except for dairy. Dairy still, if I have too much dairy, there's still an issue there. But if I continue to eat whatever I want, if I were to do that again, I would end up right back where I was a few years ago. I'd get sick again. And it's not something that happens to people overnight. It's the constant eating and
Over so
ingesting
many
of these
years.
foods
Mhm.
and these drinks and things like that it contain all these chemicals, because it's not like eating it once or twice is going to do you in.
Yeah.
It's the repeated eating and ingesting of these things that does the damage.
Mhm.
It's a cumulative type damage. And I think that's why, well, I don't know for sure, but I think that's why it's allowed to be put into this shit, into food, because it's not gonna hurt you right away, but I mean, maybe I think that's maybe the loophole that they use to allow it to be put into stuff. Now, why the fuck you would need to put this in anything to begin with is beyond me, but here we are.
No, but even breads, like regular bread, a lot of it has a lot of sugar. They have chemicals, and it just so it can last longer, a lot of preservatives. So one of the things you can do is make your own bread instead. You can use flour, yeast, salt, and water. I make my own bread. I don't put any sugar in it, and it's delicious. So you can make your own bread. And one of the things that I do is I make a big batch of dough, and then I break it up into small balls, and then I freeze them. So that way, oh, okay, I bake bread for today. And then tomorrow, then I'll take a ball out of the freezer, thaw it out overnight, and then in the morning, bake another fresh bread. And that's a good way to not get all those chemicals.
Okay, for bread.
Yeah, for bread.
If you want to go bake your own bread,
Yeah.
how many people listening or watching are going to go out and bake their own bread?
Oh, I don't. Okay.
Yeah, you don't
What?
count. Not counting you.
Okay.
But
Well, some people, I know people who
oh,
bake their own bread.
I'm saying the majority, the masses.
I'm just trying to let
Most
people know it's easy.
Okay.
And it
Fair enough.
doesn't
It's
take up a lot
easy
of
if you
time.
know how to do it, but how many people actually know how to
I
bake their
didn't
own
know
bread?
how to bake bread. I
I'm
thought,
just saying.
what I'm trying to say is, are you okay? You just bumped your head on the microphone. I I'm just saying that I thought baking bread would be really difficult, and I was worried about doing it, but once I did it, I realized, oh, this is a lot easier than I thought it was. So I'm just trying to give people a little confidence that it's not as hard as it seems for anyone who's worried about that. That's all.
All right, moving on from bread.
Diet soda.
Oh, fuck.
So
Okay,
let's talk about like diet soda.
What about
Many of
diet
them
soda?
contain aspartame.
Yeah,
That's found in Diet Coke. So they use aspartame instead of sugar. So aspartame is, we know it as Equal and NutraSweet. Those are both aspartame. And it's one of the world's most widely used sweeteners, and it's 200 times sweeter than sucrose. Aspartame is a synthetic chemical composed of the amino acids, I will try to say it, phenylalanine.
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 Phenylalanine and aspartic acid with a methyl
Ester.
ester. When consumed, methyl ester breaks down into methanol, which may be converted into formaldehyde. It's also been linked to cancer, migraines, and headaches, seizure, stroke, intestinal, and mood disorders. Sounds like a party. Yeah. So this is in a lot of diet drinks.
So when I was 20 or 21, I can't remember, I started drinking Diet Coke. And
just for the taste of it?
Oh, yeah, right. And it became kind of all I drank because it was diet. So it was healthy. I was a fucking idiot, let me tell you. And I I remember when I went to wrestle in Puerto Rico, and that was all I drank. I was on an island in the summer, hot, and you know how most bodybuilders, weightlifters, those kind of people, they carry on the gallon of water. I always had a 2 liter of Diet Coke in my hand. No exaggeration. That's what I took to the gym with me. That's what I drank everywhere. And my friend Steve did the same thing. That's what we would do. We just drink Diet Coke all the time. Barely ever drank water. But hey, it's diet. There's no sugar.
It's
good.
good for you. It's
we're
healthy.
We're fine. We're good. So I got hurt when I was in Puerto Rico. I ended up separating my shoulder, and was taken to the hospital and everything. And they're, they get you in the hospital and they take an x-rays and everything. And the doctor comes to speak with me, and he's got an interpreter. Sorry, there was an interpreter that was with me from the wrestling company that came with me to the hospital to translate because I didn't speak Spanish. And so he's puts up my x-rays and he's showing me my x-rays. And obviously I don't know what I'm looking at, but he's showing me in my x-rays and explaining to me through the interpreter that I have the bones of a 75-year-old man. And it's no wonder I got hurt. And I'm looking, I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about with the bones of it? What do you mean? How can that be? I'm a professional wrestler. I'm 21 years old. How can I be? What are you talking about? Like, I don't beat myself up that bad.
There must be a translation
There's
issue.
got to be something going on. And so he asked me, do you drink a lot of soda? This guy in Puerto Rico, this doctor, this emergency room doctor is asking me this. And I said, yeah, actually, but I drink Diet Coke. So yeah, I don't drink the sugar and anything. I'm good. And the guy looked at me, he shook his head and he started talking like really fast. And like he was getting animated, and he's really animated and really kind of almost, I felt like he was cutting a promo on me, but in Spanish. So I didn't know what he was saying, but he looked like he was like ripping me a new one almost. And so the interpreter's like looking, nodding, and going like, oh, wow. And he seemed kind of surprised. And he starts translating to me. He's telling me that the chemicals in Diet Coke, they actually, one of the effects they have on the human body is they will suck the calcium out of your bones and deplete calcium from your body. And you should never drink that stuff. And he's just going off on me. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the first I heard of it. I had no clue. And he's telling me, he's like, either stop wrestling or stop drinking that stuff because you're going to break. He goes, I left out, I separated my shoulder, but it was literally, it was taking a clothesline from somebody. And it was just the way that I landed. It was kind of a freak accident, but it was the simplest little thing. And that was it. And so he's sitting here telling me, and I'm all, muscled up. I'm jacked. I'm in really good shape physically. I look on the outside, I look healthy. I look like an athletic guy. But no, on the inside, that's the thing. We don't see what's going on the inside from taking all this stuff and ingesting all these various chemicals that, unbeknownst to most of us, are not good for you at all.
But it's labeled as healthy.
And
this is the point.
That's the thing. Yeah. And that's the whole point. So
because it's so confusing. Like some of this stuff, like I didn't know, and I had to look it up and figure it out because, like you said before, there's so much. Look at sports drinks like Gatorade.
Oh man.
Loaded with sugar. So a serving of Gatorade, so 20 ounces of Gatorade, contains approximately 31.9 grams of sugar. Okay, I want to show you guys. It's almost a quarter cup of sugar. So for our watchers, look at all this sugar.
You have visual aids.
I have visual aids. This baggie of sugar, it's about a quarter cup sugar in your drink. That's so much. That's in your sports drink.
One bottle of
one
Gatorade?
Bottle of Gatorade.
What size bottle is that? Like the big
20 ounce.
That's a 20 ounce.
20 fluid ounces.
Wow.
Look how much sugar this is.
That's a lot.
This is a lot of sugar.
That's about how much Splenda I used to put in my coffee.
Oh, jeepers.
Be like 5 or 6 packets, just dump it in.
This is like a lot of sugar. And they label it as healthy because it's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. Idiocracy. It's got electrolytes because your body, it needs some salt. So we're going to put a little salt in it. We're going to give some electrolytes and a shit ton of sugar. And it's healthy. It's good for you.
That's one thing. I was never really into the Gatorades too much. I mean, I have them occasionally here and there, but it was never something that I was into. I was never into that type of a sport drink. You know what I liked? I liked Red Bull.
I didn't drink that stuff.
I used to drink so much Red Bull, and I'd get the big cans. They were, at first they came out, they were the little like 10-ounce cans or maybe 8-ounce. They were small. They were not that big. And then they came out with the bigger size. And then they came out with the even bigger size. And then there was like a huge king size. And I used to drink the biggest one I could get. I'd go to the gas station, always get 1 or 2 cans of the biggest one. And I'd go through, especially on a wrestling show day. Oh, forget about it. I'd have 2 or 3 of
I
those.
never got into energy drinks. I did when I was in high school, as a freshman in high school. We had a convenience store across the street from the high school, and I would go there before track and I would get a Jolt Cola.
Jolt.
Mm-hmm.
I never drank Jolt, but I
Sugar, just
remember
sugar.
Jolt. I remember
Yep.
it.
And I get like the big bottles. So they were like really tall. They were kind of skinny, but it was like a really tall bottles, maybe like 30, was it like 32 ounces or 48 ounces? But I get this big, really big bottle of Jolt Cola, and that would give me energy to have to do a couple laps around the track before I did shot put and discus.
It's amazing you don't drop from the dehydration, you know?
Ah, you're
Crazy.
young.
No, I know, but
But
that's what I mean.
I'm,
Like, it's
but it's like
amazing.
I just never got into like these energy drinks.
Yeah, see, that was my crutch for many, many years. And
I'm
then I went from the Red Bull
yeah.
into the 5-hour energy
Yes, you
shots.
did. Yep.
And I went from the 5-hour energy shot to the extra strength 5-hour energies. And it would be like 2 or 3 a day
And you would
of
take,
those.
yeah, like 2 to 3 a day. And I'd be like, that's a lot. You shouldn't be taking that many.
I needed it to function. I literally, I shot
Because
my
you
body.
were putting it into your
I
body.
know, but that's the thing. I destroyed my body, my
Mhm.
my
You
adrenal
burned your
glands, everything.
adrenals.
I
Yeah.
completely fried my everything.
Mhm.
I fried myself because I was just taking all this stuff, thinking I need this to be better. I need this to be faster. I need this to have energy. I need this for this. I need this to work out. I need this. It was just an endless, vicious cycle. And turns out you don't need any of that
You
shit
don't.
at
You don't.
all. None of it. And
I'm naturally energetic, so I typically don't.
yeah, you're lucky in that way.
I
I
don't
mean,
need stuff.
for me now, I need my cup of coffee in the morning. I mean, and honestly, I don't really need
I don't
it,
need coffee. I just like it.
but I do actually enjoy the beverage. I like the warmth. And then even in the summertime when we have it iced, I just like having a cup or two of coffee. But
I like the taste of coffee.
I mean, we could do a whole show on coffee
Oh yeah, we could.
and how
And even that
not good it
is not
is
good
it,
for
'cause
you.
even coffee is not
Yeah.
really, it's not a health drink either.
Another thing are those healthy frozen dinners. Think about like lean cuisine and healthy. We are
I
just blowing
saw-
all chances of corporate sponsors.
I saw your notes, but I didn't read through it. But I saw that bullet point. Okay, so what's a healthy frozen dinner?
So like the lean cuisines, healthy choice, like those that are marketed as a healthier option, but they're loaded with
like a TV dinner,
sodium.
essentially,
Yeah,
right?
but they're labeled as healthy because they're low in fat or they have low calories. But if you look at the portions, the calories are low because you barely get any food with it. And it's not like a lot of them don't actually have vegetables in them. When you think about the carb and protein portions, it's actually not really healthy when you read the ingredients. And that's, I think, one of the points we're trying to say is read the ingredients, read the nutritional labels.
Okay, but that's one right there where you could, I mean, you could write books on this. That what's considered a healthy or a good amount of protein, or what's considered a good or healthy amount of carbs in a meal.
That can vary per person.
But that's what I'm saying to you. Why are you saying that? Because you don't know what would be a healthy portion of carbohydrates and protein for me, may be too much or too little for you or somebody else. So what's a healthy portion?
But what I'm saying is they're labeling it as healthy, but it's not necessarily healthy. And I feel like as a person, if you want to be healthy, it's your responsibility to see what works best for your body. And when you're going to get something, look at the ingredients, look at the nutritional value, look at what's inside and see if that works for you. People just blindly get stuff because it says it's healthy, low fat, low calorie. Like there are these flashy words and terms and phrases. Yeah. But that's what suckers people in because they think they're doing something good for themselves.
But why is that though? What does that boil down to? Lack of education.
But the information keeps changing too. It's really hard to stay afloat.
It's lack of education on what is healthy though. What is truly healthy? And you're never going to get that education in a public school or anything like that. And I mean, honestly, even a lot of the people that go to school, that post high school, going to college and things like that, they get like become nutritionists and all that kind of stuff. They have no idea what's healthy either.
I want to share a story about nutritionist.
Okay, go ahead, share your story.
No, just because when I was pregnant, I got gestational diabetes with our second son. And I had to see, I couldn't take, I was allergic to, they had like tablets that you could take instead of going on insulin, but I was allergic to some of the ingredients. So I had to take insulin. And they sent me to a nutritionist, the OBGYN. And I met with this nutritionist and she spent
The
all the,
nutritionist was the
no,
OBGYN.
the OBGYN sent me to the nutritionist.
Oh, you said they sent me to the nutritionist, the OBGYN.
The OBGYN sent me. I didn't want to, like, who is they? The doctor. I was trying to clarify.
Okay.
But so I saw this nutritionist and she went over all this stuff about how I should be eating and the right way to eat. And I was just like, I don't agree with this, but okay, she's a nutritionist. She knows better. I will listen. So I listened to her and I was miserable. I ate the diet she gave me, the foods I could eat, and the portions to control my insulin, to control my diabetes. My blood sugars were still crazy. Even though I was following these instructions to the T, I was actually losing weight. So when you're supposed to be gaining weight during pregnancy, I was losing weight. And I was just miserable and I was really concerned. And I remember even going to see at the doctor's office, they had different OBGYNs based off who was available. And one doctor, I was almost at the brink of tears because I was so frustrated. I was so hungry all the time and I'm losing weight and I don't feel good and I'm worried about my baby. And I go over my concerns and she looks at me, she goes, well, are you eating? And I was waiting for her to say, like, are you eating this or that? No, just, are you eating? I just told you what I'm eating, what the nutritionist told me I should be eating. And it took finally seeing a different doctor to put things in perspective and say, if it's not working, then don't do it. If your numbers are crazy, trying to do it, it probably just means it's how your body is. So do what works for you. And it was a good lesson because it's like, just because you're following these rules somebody gives you about nutrition doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And ultimately, you need to do what you feel works for you.
And that's the hard part, is knowing what works for you. And it's trial and error, and knowing what a good baseline starting point is. And again, that all comes down to education.
Mhm.
We're not educated in those matters, especially in this country. We're just not. It's not. I mean, what was the food pyramid when we were growing up?
Yeah.
It was like, if you invert it, that's the correct way you should be eating. It was like all the stuff they tell you eat tons of, you should have as minimal amount of that as you can. And I don't even know what the food pyramid is now, but just growing up, it was just so backwards. But that's what we were told is healthy. That's what school lunches and everything else were based off of that. And it's anything but that. But if you want to, I mean, we talk about these problems, we talk about these things, but what's a solution? A solution, honestly, the easiest thing to do, and it actually it it it, it seems very confusing because it is. If you look at all this stuff, the easiest thing to do to solve this problem is just know where you're getting your food from and just eat natural food. Natural food being meat, if you eat meat. If you don't. Vegetables, fruits, stuff that's natural, not something that came in a package, not something that's bagged, not something that's processed. If you're in the grocery store, I'm sure you probably heard this before, you just stick around the perimeter of the store because that's where all the perishable items are. Well, they're perishable for a reason. They go bad because they're only good for so long because they have a shelf life. They're natural. That's nature. So if everybody just went back to nature, we'd be all good.
And also combining foods, you know.
That's another thing too. Having any one food on its own, you can say is healthy. It's when we start combining and mixing the different foods because, and this is something that I didn't know till a few years back, your body digests food differently. The pH, your stomach acids and everything, it's different depending on what kind of food you're putting into your body. So the way your body digests meat or proteins, for example, like chicken, meat, fish, whatever it is, but any kind of protein or flesh, I guess, anything like that, the stomach acidity, it's different. And if you're eating meat, but then you're also eating vegetables or fruit or anything like that, or grains, your stomach acids are not going to digest that properly, because they're set to digest, for example, meat. But if you're eating,
like a carb, like one thing that surprised me was
yeah,
protein and carbs are not supposed to mix. So you think meat and potatoes, it's a staple.
yeah,
Everyone loves meat
of
and
course,
potatoes, but those don't go together. Your
no, and
body doesn't digest it well together.
yeah, they go together great on the plate, and they
On the taste
taste,
buds.
and they taste great,
Yeah.
but inside, yeah, it doesn't compute. It doesn't. It's not okay to do that, which you would never know that unless you actually did research or went to school, like actually went to school and learned how does the body work? How does the body break down food? What's the body pH?
They don't teach us this in school.
They
At
don't
least not
teach
when
it.
I was going to school.
No, well, do you think they're teaching it now? Come on.
No.
But that's the thing. So getting back to eating natural foods and knowing when to eat certain foods and how much of it to eat and what to eat it with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing too. If you say, for example, you eat a steak, say you have a ribeye steak. I used to love getting ribeyes with like mashed potatoes, rice, whatever else, right? That's the worst thing you can eat. It's the worst thing you can do. And I've seen so many different articles. I've heard interviews with like heart surgeons and people that have done open heart surgeries on people, and they're cutting open people that eat meats, hearts, and they're just clogged. Their arteries are clogged, and this and that. They blame it on the meat. It's not the fucking meat. It's not the meat. It's the everything else that this person is eating with the with their meat. That's what it is.
The
and
mashed potatoes with the 2 pounds of butter in it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You hear about all these things that say, oh, if you eat meat, then it's horrible for you because of this, and this, and statistics show this, and this. All these statistics, all these charts, all these things, all these studies that are done, they never take into account, well, what else is the person doing? Are they just eating meat all the time? Are they exercising? Are they getting sunlight? Are they
Drinking
sleeping?
water.
Are they drinking enough water? Are they doing all these other things? None of that stuff in any research for any type of food is ever done. None of that is ever done. It's always just all these variables are never taken into account. It's just blanket statement. This is bad. Carbs, bad. So eat just meat and fat. Or don't eat meat, just eat this because of this, and this. It's never, none of the other stuff is ever taken into account. It's like every single thing is tied in some way to marketing.
Oh, and on the other side
Everything.
of that, how many people say, oh, I'm just going to have a salad? So they say, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to eat a salad. Now, yes, if you're having a salad with greens and vegetables, okay, that sounds fine. Maybe a little olive oil and vinegar. But what do people usually put on salads? They add cheese, they add bacon or bacon bits, croutons, lots of dressing, something like
sesame
blue
seeds,
cheese or
cheese
ranch dressing.
Yeah.
And oh, it makes it taste so good, but it's not as healthy anymore. But
Not
people
as
think
healthy.
because it's a salad, I use that term lately. People think because it's a salad, oh, it's healthy. I have a salad. There's only 2 little pieces of lettuce on it, and the rest is all like other stuff, but it's a salad, so it's healthy.
Right on.
The things we tell ourselves to make us feel better about what we eat, right?
Yeah. But again, I think
it just goes to the point of, well, what else are you doing? Because if you say, doctor, I eat a salad, all I eat is salad. Okay, well, what's on your salad?
What else are you eating aside from salad? If you just ate salad all the time, that's not healthy either. In my view, but again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. And even if I was, I can't say what's going to be healthy for you or what's going to be healthy for anybody else. It all boils down to you educate people. This is for me, my solution, in my view, my opinion. You educate people on, okay, these are natural foods. This comes from the earth. This comes from an animal. And even animals, if you eat animals, what is the animal eating? Because that's getting passed on to you too. So that's why for a lot of people that eat meat, grass-fed, grass-finished beef is the best kind of beef to eat, because it's not fed corn and all this other stuff that just and hormones and all these other things. It's supposed to be a healthier, the healthiest version of it, right? But it just comes down to education, educating people. This is what this is. This is what this can do to your body if you eat it with this. But if you eat it alone and then you wait an hour and a half and then have your rice or your mashed potatoes, you'll be fine, because by that point your body will have had time to digest that meat and start to slowly pass it through your system, and then you can introduce something else in, and then your stomach is ready to digest something different. I didn't know all this till I started reading, books on it.
But I think it's just people should, I guess we're encouraging people to do a little more independent research, and not just in general stuff, because like we said, what works for one person doesn't work for another, but see what works for you. And trial and error goes a long way, because there are foods that I don't tolerate well, or if I combine them, I don't tolerate well, but Alex is fine with them, and vice versa. So just because it works for him, it doesn't always work for me. It's really a matter of seeing what works best for you. And I notice when I combine certain foods and not combine other foods, I just feel better. I used to eat all the time and felt so sick after. I'd always feel gross after I ate. And you think, oh, just I ate too much. But I can eat like certain things I put together that are supposed to go together and work better for me. I feel great, even if I feel really full, but I still feel good after. And that's when I realized there is a difference. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So you get to see what works best for you.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I mean, geez, I had to hit almost 40 before I realized, I gotta figure something out. What's going on with me? Because this isn't right the way I was feeling and everything.
Yeah.
So, and that's when I really, really started looking into really looking into health and fitness, because what I was doing was not healthy. And I mean, yeah, I could have put on the fitness hat and said, yeah, hey, it's part of being fitness. But is it really? The health part of health and fitness seems to have been lost in that genre, if you will. There's very, very few people. There's a couple of good ones out there, but there's very few trainers and I guess now the new thing is influencers and things like that are actually concerned with health and not so much the way they look. So
I'd be concerned though, like if you say an influencer, like right there, it's like, I don't know if I can trust you because you're being paid to tell people something.
But I mean, well, yeah, and I'm not gonna knock people that are making money, because you gotta make money to survive. You gotta make your scratch somehow,
I'm just
right?
saying, like, if you're being paid to influence somebody on a certain thing that's healthy, are we gonna fall into these kind of ways of thinking? Oh, they're saying it's healthy, so it must be healthy. I think at the end of the day, we just have to do our own research.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's saying what. And it's actually on that back on the influencer kind of thing just for a second. I was briefly earlier, I was on, I can't remember, I was looking at something, and I had come across like an ad on my phone, and it was for some health drink that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, came out with some new health drink or something. And it's called ZOA, ZOA, I guess.
No
but
idea.
but it's the A is actually the Greek delta symbol, which is weird. But anyway, so I'm like, oh, that's interesting. He's got a health drink. Huh, let me look at it. Let me see what's in there. So I went and I looked at the ingredients and everything, and I'm getting all the way through. I'm like, oh, this actually looks like it might be pretty good. It's got a couple of natural, it look all right. Get to the last thing, sucralose. I'm like, he's fucking kidding me. Come on. So even The Rock is pushing stuff that is really not so great for you.
And I think,
unfortunately,
one can argue, well, you're not supposed to have it all the time, just once in a while. But it doesn't come off that way to people.
Well, I mean, that's the out for everything, though.
Yeah.
Well, you're not supposed to have it all the time. What are you doing having it all the time? You only have it once in a while.
Growing up in the 80s, when you would see cereals like Cocoa Puffs and like the really sugary cereals, Fruity Pebbles,
the good stuff that tasted really good.
It's a part of a balanced breakfast.
Yeah.
How is that part of a balanced breakfast? Hey, it's sugar.
It's like anything else. If you say it, see it, hear it, read it enough, you start to believe it.
Yeah.
That's
If
what
they
it
start
is.
saying it enough and then other people start saying it, then it basically becomes a truth to people,
Yeah,
even
that's
though
all it
it's not
is.
real.
That's all it
That's
is.
just how it works.
All part of the American experiment.
But I think a lot of our hearers and watchers have caught on to that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to think so anyhow.
If you're
But for
listening to us, then
yeah,
probably.
yeah. But for anybody that isn't, hey, just do your research.
Yeah.
Look into food combining.
Yeah.
If you want to get healthy, look into how you should properly combine your
Mhm.
foods. And it's not so much, again, not necessarily limiting or eliminating certain foods. Although, again, some people feel the need to do that for ethical reasons, and I get that. That's
Yeah.
totally cool. Uh, not to go on a tangent or anything, but I remember, I know that one of the big things with vegetarians, vegans, is the treatment of the animal and that kind of thing, and seeing how animals are processed and how that can really do a number on you.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw those, and I was like, what? This is what happens? Like, you don't know. You're just buying something in the store. You're seeing it packaged. You don't realize what went into getting you that steak or that
and not
burger.
not just that, not just the way it's treated,
Yeah.
but the energy of that animal, the way it's treated, all that stuff carries into the meat.
Yeah. Okay.
I just
Sure.
wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, so I get the ethical thing. I get why people maybe don't feel comfortable eating. I totally get that kind of stuff. But my thing is, a human diet should be, in my view, again, this is my opinion. You tell me to go fuck off. It's fine. You should have a balanced diet. You should try to include a little of everything. And obviously, you can't. It's not possible to get a little of everything every day. But it's just, I think the best way to eat is just seasonally. What's in season where you live? What's in season? What's
And go to local farms.
what's available? Yeah,
And
if,
especially
if,
for me, like check
if
out
you
the
yeah
quality of life for the animals.
if you have a local farm in your area, a farmer's market or something like
Mhm.
that, that's usually the best place to get your stuff.
Yeah.
Usually.
And it's usually more expensive, but if you look at the quality, the animals are given a better life. You can see how they're treated. Are you disagreeing?
No, I'm not. No, finish your point, but I'm going to tell you why it's not more expensive.
Okay, well, usually it seems more expensive, but no. Okay, well, anyway, you can see that they're getting a better quality of life. You can see how things are. You're actually at the farm because we have local farms here in New Hampshire, and you can see the cows. You can see the chickens. You can see how they're treated. You can see the range. It's not like a little, 4 foot by 4 foot pen that's called free range. It's actual like fields that they're allowed to go and roam. So you can see, okay, they seem to have a good quality of life.
So why I was shaking my head no when you're saying it's more expensive, it's not more expensive. It's not. If you eat organic or local or whatever, think about it. Will it be a few more cents or maybe $1 or so more? Yeah, maybe it will be more than what you get in the grocery store. But in the long run, for your health and your pocketbook, it's not as expensive as if you get cancer or some other type of disease or sickness or illness that you got to deal with. It's not more expensive. The couple of bucks more that you spend at your local farm, that's, in my view, that's worth it.
Well,
and I think in
dollar
most
for
people,
dollar.
well, dollar for dollar.
When you're comparing a supermarket
Okay,
steak.
but what are you getting in the supermarket steak compared to what you're getting at the local
it's
steak?
higher quality. There's so many more perks with where you get it from the farm.
If if you can buy a little bit more, if you have a freezer in your home and you buy a little bit more from that local farmer, you usually get it for a lot better price than you would get it at the supermarket when you're talking price per pound.
And a lot of them have deals too.
Yes, which is, again, it will probably, a lot of times, depending on the quantity that you buy, your quality will be better, but the quantity you buy could end up being even cheaper than if you bought it in the grocery store. So it's not necessarily more expensive. When you're saying dollar for dollar, okay, if you're going to compare receipts and you're buying the same amount,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, fine. But is it worth it for a couple of bucks?
I like how you're arguing with me, but we're agreeing.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, isn't it worth it
Yeah.
for a couple of dollars
But
more
that's my point. It's
rather
worth
than
it.
and knowing that you're getting something that you're putting into your body, is natural. It came from a local place. You could talk
Yeah.
to farmer Bill or Joe or Ben or whoever. You could talk to them, and you could actually build a relationship with them. They're good people. That you can see their farm. Don't you think that's worth the couple dollars more, and also keeping this farmer in business so he can feed you and your family?
Yeah,
It kind of makes sense.
I know, and
It's
that's what I'm trying to say.
it's not really more expensive.
So if you can go to local farms, go to local farms. They have
Absolutely.
what's seasonal.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's usually a
Yeah.
lot better product than what's in the
Yeah.
supermarket.
So eat seasonally.
Mhm.
Try to eat a little of everything, and just try to again just keep portion control is the
Yeah.
biggest thing for health. It's portion control, and that's all. And if you're gonna have ice cream, you're gonna have your sugars, you're gonna have your treats here and there. Just limit it. Don't have so much of it, and don't. That's why, to me, when you have elimination diets, you just say, "I'm never having that again." You always end up failing, that kind of thing. So, but that's my spiel.
There you go.
Like I said, I could go on for forever talking about this kind of stuff. And again, always do your own thing. Do what works for you, because what works for you is not necessarily going to work for me, for her, and what works for us ain't going to necessarily work for you. That's what we've been
trying to say. And
right.
Just do your own research.
Do your own research. Just have a good baseline to start. And the best way to start is just to go back to basics, back to what's natural. One ingredient foods. That's it. You shouldn't have to. If you're looking at something and it's got a bunch of ingredients, guess what? You should probably put it back on the shelf and just move on to something else.
And you know what? I'll even challenge our hearers and watchers to try something, like try a fruit or a vegetable that you haven't tried before. So I remember the first time I tried cauliflower, and I was like, ugh, this was like years and years ago. But I remember thinking like, oh, it's going to be so gross. And then I actually really liked it. So you might be surprised by what's out there and what's available, and that you might actually really enjoy eating it. So I challenge everyone just to try something different, a different vegetable or fruit.
Yeah, I mean, I never ate fruits or vegetables at all. I never did growing up. Never wanted to, never cared to. My parents always had a garden, always had fresh stuff. I never ate it, never did. For whatever reason, as a kid, just didn't want it. And they never forced it on me or anything like that. Now, I kind of wish they would have now. But I grew up all throughout my life until I met you. I never ate any of that stuff. It wasn't until I met you and you started cooking me different things, and I was like, okay, she's an amazing cook, so like whatever she puts in front of me, I'll try it. And I ended up really liking a lot of stuff that I had never tried before, probably never would have tried if you hadn't put it in front of me. So yeah, there's a whole generation of people out there that grew up on fast food and that kind of thing. And
fruit, nature's fast food. Vegetables,
fruit, nature's fast food. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But there you go. Anyway, gonna keep repeating ourselves here.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you found it interesting.
Hope you got something out of it.
Yeah.
And just know, I mean, again, like you've had your issues. I've had my health issues. That we were able. That this is the light at the end of the tunnel for everybody. I hope. I told you what happened to me when I was 21, drinking all that diet soda. My bones were becoming brittle. I was getting hurt doing real basic stuff. I was able to heal myself. My body healed itself. All I did was stop drinking diet soda. I stopped drinking it. And I didn't just cold turkey drop it, never have it again. I would have it occasionally, but I dialed it back big time. And my body got the reprieve and was able to heal itself.
Bodies are amazing.
When I went to that naturopath several years back, and I found out, got myself tested for all the food sensitivities. I cut all those food. Now that time I went cold turkey because I realized I've got a real bad problem here now. And obviously I'm older than, 20-year-old. And I was able to heal the leaky gut. I was able to heal all my sensitivities. I was able to get my adrenal system back. I was able to get my energy back. I was able to heal myself. It does not happen overnight, but your body just like you don't get sick overnight, it takes time. It's a gradual buildup of these chemicals and these things that you're putting into yourself. Well, it's a gradual healing process that has to take
But it
place
can
too,
heal
but it
itself.
can help. So that should be the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what I think we
Yeah.
should end on. You definitely can get better. You can heal yourself. There's a way to do it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Our bodies are amazing.
They really
They're
are.
amazing. We're born with amazing vessels
Yes.
that we occupy. So just do your best to take care of it. That's and if you've been duped like I was for so many years, and you
Don't be embarrassed.
I mean, that's why I'm always so open and honest about stuff,
Yeah.
because I hope that anybody listening can get something from it and realize, geez, this guy's admitting this. Like, I was the picture for so many years of health and fitness. At least I thought. I thought I was, because if you look at me, you'd go, that guy's in shape. That guy knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. I had no fucking clue. But on the outside, I looked like I was in
You
shape.
look
I
the
looked like I
part.
did. But I mean, I knew what I was regurgitating from reading muscle magazines and reading, muscle books by, people that are getting paid by supplement companies to push stuff. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, on that note, hope somebody got something out of this. And do you have any final closing words from you about anything?
Yeah, I hope that people who heard this or watch this, that maybe you learned something, and hopefully if you're not already on a better path of healthy eating, maybe it's taught you something and you can figure out what does work for you. Don't be embarrassed if you were one of the people buying lean cuisines. I used to do that, back when I used to think like, oh, I need to lose weight, I have to look really skinny. It was like, again, the brainwashing of society of I need to be a size 4, for me to look good. I have to eat little portions and eat the lean cuisine or the healthy choice or whatever it was. I did that too. We all do stuff like that. So I don't want anyone just being embarrassed. And that's why we share our truth and our honesty.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and that too, that's going to be one of the things that I'll be, as we close out, that I'll be offering when my site's finalized and back done. I'll be doing consults like how you do right now, for people that want help with that kind of stuff. That's going to be something that I'll be offering. So keep a lookout for that.
And that's something I can offer too with hypnotherapy. If you're having a difficult time and you want to make a change, you have to want to do it. But if you just need some help getting there, hypnotherapy can help with that as well. So depending on what you're looking for, there are different avenues for you, even if it's not with us.
All right. Well, on that note, until next time, hopefully we're talking about something a little bit more. Well, you know what? No, fuck that. I was gonna say a little bit more fun, but you know what?
I thought this was fun and educational.
I hope, yeah, people had fun listening, I guess, and maybe just hearing some of the stuff, that some of our personal experiences, and knowing that it's not all peachy keen out there, but it's also not it's not impossible to come back from,
Yeah.
a bad health experience. So yeah, I was gonna say something more fun, but you know what? Fuck it. I had fun. You had fun. Hopefully you learned something from it. Hopefully we didn't piss anybody off. And if we did, hey, sorry. Well, that wasn't our
Not our
intention at all.
intention.
But if you got pissed, hey, nothing I can do about that. Nothing she can do about it. But we appreciate you listening to us, and
And we appreciate you.
yeah, and we always ask our friends, our hearers and watchers, if you don't mind, when you are subscribing or following or whatever it is you're doing or listening to or watching us on, if you don't mind just leaving us that 5-star review. And
Or
if you want to take,
liking.
and if you want to take the time to write us a review too, that's cool. And an email too. We read emails when we
Yeah.
get them. We do read them. And actually we may in the future, we'll talk about it, but we may actually start reading some here on the show as well. So if you got a question or something, or you want to tell us that we're wrong about something we've talked about, or maybe add to something we've talked about, or share personal experience that you've had about something, please feel free to drop us a line. We'd love to hear from everybody. So on that note, I guess I was looking to you to see if you had anything to add, but
You
all
said it
right.
all.
Until next time. And I don't know what we're going to be talking about next time, but we will be back soon. We've been doing this now almost 3 years, you said, right?
Yeah, April will be 3 years.
Wow, crazy. Amazing. Time flies when you're having
It
fun.
does.
Until next time, I am the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing, certified hypnotherapist, wife, the lovely Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker podcast.